So UFC Fight Night Cannonier versus Rodriguez has just taken place, and this is my reaction to the entire card. So there were 12 fights in total. 6 of those fights were stopped by way of finish. Let's start off with the main event though. Jared Cannonier, Gregory Rodriguez. What a fight this was. This definitely delivered. Now, I was surprised going into this fight that Jared Cannonier was the underdog. Didn't really make much sense to me. Now, my prediction for this fight was Jared Cannonier to win by decision. There's a couple of reasons as to why I thought that. One, Jared Cannonier has been in there and has beaten way better opposition than what Gregory Rodriguez has. Jared Cannonier has been in there, beat the likes of Sean Strickland, Marvin Vettori, Derek Brunson. The guy's been in there with the likes of Adesanya, Robert Whittaker. Yes, he lost those fights, but great experience gained being in there with such high-level mixed martial artists. And Jared Cannonier it's nothing new to him to be in the main event and fighting 5 rounds, where this was completely new for Gregory Rodriguez, who does tend to slow down in 3-round fights anyway, which I thought was going to be a bit concerning going in there against Cannonier. Now, a lot of people were saying about Cannonier's last 2 performances against Caio Borralho and Imavov. Look, those guys are ranked number 1 and number 6 in the UFC middleweight division, I believe. So it's not as if he's losing to these scrubs. Caio Borralho's 1 win away from fighting for the belt. Imavov literally should be fighting for the belt next. And Cannonier looked good in there against Imavov. That was arguably an early stoppage, although Imavov was on track to finishing Cannonier, if we're being honest. And then the Caio Borralho one, Cannonier didn't really offer much in there, but a lot of people were speculating that Cannonier's chin was gone because he was essentially stopped in his last 2 performances. I know the Caio Borralho one went to a decision, but for those who know and watched that fight, how Cannonier didn't get finished is crazy. But I had faith in Cannonier's just skill set and the fact that he's more proven. That's what I went with. That's why I thought Gregory Rodriguez was going to lose this one. Gregory Rodriguez is the... look at this guy. There's no way this guy's 32 years of age. He looks about fucking 75. But he was coming in on a 3-fight win streak. 2 out of those 3 wins were coming by KO. Gregory Rodriguez is a big puncher, and the guy has some really good jiu-jitsu as well. Now, I was a bit unsure of my prediction when I seen both guys face off because, when were you going to tell me that Gregory Rodriguez is an actual fucking heavyweight? The guy was Andre the Giant standing beside Jared Cannonier. Did not expect that. But round 1, Gregory Rodriguez looked really good in there, landing the shots. He dropped Jared Cannonier twice in there with some big shots. It was just like anything Gregory Rodriguez was throwing and landing in round 1. It was just like a big thudding shot. Like it was as if the guy had fucking boulders in his hands. He was just hurting Jared Cannonier constantly, and he dropped him. But Jared Cannonier did do something in those exchanges where he was dropped that kind of showed his experience, in my opinion. He didn't try and bounce right back up to his feet. The guy, when he went down, he went for a leg, looked to get a takedown. Don't know why I'm pretending I'm going for a takedown whenever I'm not even involved. But you know what I mean? Jared Cannonier showed his experience there by looking to take down Gregory Rodriguez to buy him time. Round 1, though, wasn't good for Jared Cannonier. He kept himself safe at parts, but was dropped twice. Then, after round 1, it was pretty clear that Gregory Rodriguez wasn't going to be going 5 rounds, and in fact had just gassed himself out in the first round. Now, Cannonier did do other things to kind of wear on Rodriguez, like for example having him against the cage and a lot of clinch work, which if anyone has trained MMA and grappling, they know that is really tiring, especially for someone like Gregory Rodriguez, who is just fucking a ball of muscle. You know what I mean? That guy's going to gas out quick regardless of what he's doing in there, really. But Cannonier then came on strong. Cannonier took round 2, in my opinion. Round 3 was whenever he dropped Gregory Rodriguez near the end of the round with a really nice short elbow, which Jared Cannonier lands a lot when they're breaking away from the clinch. He landed a perfect one on Gregory Rodriguez, put him down, folded him with some disgusting grounding pound. Jared Cannonier has some nasty grounding pound in there. And if the fight was going for another 6 seconds... I would have said he would have got him out of there. Jared Cannonier actually thought that the fight was over. He didn't hear the bell after the 3rd round. He thought he had stopped Gregory Rodriguez, and it was very looking like that was going to be the case. Round 4 starts. Gregory Rodriguez is out of it. Guy wasn't really offering up much, to be honest. Fight could have been called off. His corner probably could have been like, yeah, no more. Jared Cannonier done a good job pinning him up against the cage and just letting his shots go and hurting him. The one to the body was what I thought done it though. Whenever he landed that shot to the body, I thought that was the one that really put Gregory Rodriguez down, because it seemed like Gregory Rodriguez, who a lot of people were speculating is the guy chinny or not, he did take a lot of big shots from Jared Cannonier. Although Jared Cannonier, yes, is another ball and muscle like Gregory Rodriguez, but they kind of make it out like this guy's like an Ngannou, like a one-punch knockout artist. The guy has got so much punch power. Not really the case, though, when you watch Jared Cannonier fight. But Cannonier done a really good job. I also liked the way Jared Cannonier was constantly switching stances, giving Gregory Rodriguez different stuff to look at. And that inside low kick from the southpaw stance, money every time for Jared Cannonier. Now, he did call out he wants someone above him in the rankings. Obviously, he's just lost to Caio Borralho. I don't think he's going to get a rematch against Whittaker. He's definitely not fighting Adesanya. These guys are just way out of reach for him, to be honest. I think a good matchup for Cannonier next would be the winner of Brendan Allen versus Anthony Hernandez, and that fight takes place next week. So in terms of like scheduling, it does make sense. Moving on to the co-main event, Calvin Kattar versus Zalal. This right here is aging very well for Ilia Topuria getting this win. But yeah, Zalal was just too quick for Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar did do a good job of kind of like... The thing with Calvin Kattar in this fight was he didn't throw enough. He was doing the right things by walking him down, you know, cutting off the ring and being aggressive that way, applying a lot of good pressure to Zalal, but just wouldn't really let his hands go. Now, in round 3, Zalal was literally on his bike. Bro was literally Forrest Gump in there, just running around. But Zalal in the first round especially looked really good, giving him giving Calvin Kattar different looks in the southpaw stance. I thought he had a really good job in there. He kept looking for that sweep as well on Calvin Kattar that he couldn't get. But Zalal did look good in the first 2 rounds, in my opinion. Round 3, though, he did kind of take his foot off the gas, but I mean, Calvin Kattar was going all out to try and get the finish, but he was essentially just like skating around the ring, trying to just avoid. It wasn't really throwing much back, but overall a good win. That will now get him in the UFC's top 15 featherweight rankings. What's next for Calvin Kattar? I don't know. This will be the guys. Is it third? Is he on a 3-fight losing streak? 4-fight losing streak? Obviously coming off that loss before that to Aljamain Sterling, where he was completely dominated in that fight at UFC 300, but he didn't take much damage in there, if we're being honest. But this fight in here, he didn't take a lot of damage, but you know, the jab was landed on Zalal, or for Zalal, sorry, and I just thought he was just too quick for Calvin Kattar, giving him too many different looks and different stances, and Calvin Kattar just couldn't get going. That was his issue in there. Moving on, Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Butka. Do we remember when they were saying like this guy was going to be the youngest champion in UFC history, had the backing of Ronda Rousey, etc. And then Derek Brunson absolutely fucking exposed the guy. Dylan Butka, I don't know how this guy's in the UFC. I had a bit of a burp there, that was weird saying a second name. But yeah, Edmund Shabazian, what a performance in there from him. The way he just was able to slip out of the way and throw that shot over the top. Dylan Butka's legs weren't with him, went down. Edmund Shabazian finished it up with some nice ground and pound. Great win, great performance. What's next for Edmund Shabazian? I'm not too sure. Great win for him though. Moving on, Ismail Bonfirm versus... I can't even say the guy's second name. Yeah, this was a doctor stoppage. This was shit and boring. Let's see. Petrosky, he called out Bo Nickel after getting the win. Bit of a controversial one, this one, to be honest. But yeah, called out Bo Nickel. Definitely not getting the Bo Nickel matchup. Conor Matthews versus Jose Miguel Delgado. I think I said his second name right. Great performance. Pretty sure this was the guy's UFC debut. He trains out of MMA labs with the likes of Jared Cannonier, I believe. Was just too good for Conor Matthews, let's be honest. Got a really, really nice KO in there. Great way to start your UFC debut. Overall, this card was a fun one. Angela Hill got the win. I thought it was deserved. I thought she clearly won the fight. 2 rounds to 1. What else have we got to talk about here? Chaos Williams. Whoa. Bruh. The submission, that was brutal. The guy was just lying there like wide-eyed, like mouth open. It looked like the guy was possessed. Crazy in there. Crazy finish. And I thought he was going to knock out Bonfim, but didn't work. I was wrong. Shock. We've got Elijah Smith in there against Vince Morales. Look, he almost got caught in a lot of submissions in this matchup. Did a good job though on the feet with busting Morales up. But yeah, was very lucky not to be submitted. Done a good job of working his way out of the submissions, but to be caught in that many submissions, yeah, concerning. Johnny Walker's brother. Bruh. Heel hook submission. Don't tell me I don't know how long this guy has left in the UFC, but being heel hooked is crazy. And the fact that he was an underdog, Yo, why did no one let me know? Why did no one let me know? Overall, though, this was a fun fight night card. Jared Cannonier looked really good in there. Gregory Rodriguez, what's next for him? The treadmill, long distance runs. Other than that, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know your opinions on this fight night card in the comments below. And as always, I will see you again in the next one.